Hello, everyone. Welcome. Glad to see you guys. Took me a minute. I was grabbing hot chips so I can lie. Oops. Accidentally smacks my desk. I have very long legs. I made it lower latency this stream, so hopefully that's a little better today. I was just seeing if it would end up affecting stream randomly shitting itself or not. I know, right? So shocking. Um, this stream I think I'm gonna end up doing it alone, but that's fine. I'm in a better mood today. My throat does hurt, but I should be okay. I was almost late to my own stream by a few minutes because TikTok was soaking up my attention. I have ADHD. It took me cause I was uploading a video. My quarterly video on TikTok. It's on a personal account though, so I can't share it here. I know, dude, it's terrible. Oh, Steam is sucking me into a game. Oh, it looks adorable. I'll add that to my... Oh, it's already on my wish list. Never mind. I'll get that on, like, summer sale or something. Oh yeah, fell. I finally did a thing that you asked. Look at the bottom. Even in Comic Sans. I know, right? Hold on, I could probably make it a little lighter. Accidentally smacks my microphone. Oops. It's a little easier to see now. Okay. Yay, it works, it works. Okay, let me get Hiveswap started. I'm so glad that I can have two Steam applications open. I will admit, I was a little sleepy today. A little sleepy right now. But, I did take a few power naps. I say a few because I was trying to take a long nap because I actually asked someone to make sure I was awake. Um, and what ended up happening is I would wake up every hour on the dot at the same time, and it was pissing me off, so I just stayed awake. Oh no, I'm on TV. Hi, TV chat! Yeah, totally magic. I'm sorry, I'm just naturally like this. You might want to turn your volume up because on my Streamlabs it's saying that I'm okay volume, kinda. I'm in the middle, but it's as high as it goes. I mean, I'll put my mic a little closer. That might help. Ow, 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 ow. I'm gonna have to turn the volume on the game up again. Or my desktop audio, I mean. Oh man. I speak as loud as I can. Oh, I don't know why you would have that much of an issue. Shit, I said I was gonna grab something. I can't remember anymore though. Do you guys think I should have a muffin first or hot fries? Very seen for the game audio. Muffin. Okay. All right. That's fair. It's so fair. So today, what we're hopefully gonna get through is Skyla, Branya, Tagora, and Vicare. This volume is gonna be crazy. This one is gonna be even better. Cause I had low expectations for this route because I loved this one so much, but it still ended up being pretty okay. Also, she's the most lesbian troll in the game. But you didn't hear that from me. Alright. Putting one foot in front of the other, you continue on through the strange alien world. Just when you think stuff is beginning to make sense, it all slips through your fingers and becomes even stranger and more alien. There does not, however, seem to be one thing that remains constant through... Wait. There does, however, seem to be one thing that remains constant through all planets and walks of life. That thing is friendship. Hi, Ash. Welcome. You are on the prowl for more. It would have perhaps been wise to stay with one of your wonderful new friends until you are fully healed, but as Martha Stewart said, visitors, like fish, begin to smell after 3 days. You are almost positive Martha Stewart said that. Nevertheless, you soldier on in your endless quest for companionship. Where will your travels take you next? Aw, you have a fever? I'm sorry to hear. You guys get to make the choice on this one. I know, the illusion of choice is crazy. Do you want Skyla or Vanya? That's gonna really suck if everyone's indecisive. If no one chooses in 30 seconds, I will just flip a coin. Skyla. Alright, works for me. Oh, it's a good thing you both voted for the same one. She's very pretty, so I can definitely see why. Only got through half my muffin. It's one of those big ones from what you humans would call Walmart. As dawn approaches, you find yourself heading out of the big city and into the rustic outskirts. Man, the sun sure is bright on this planet. It's rising over the crests of the distant hills, a huge fiery ball. The later it gets, the bigger and bigger it grows, way bigger than you've ever seen the sun on Earth. What's that smell? Could it be your flesh beginning to sizzle? Fantastic! You love the country! No wonder the nightlife seems so active on Alternia. They are all nocturnal to avoid brutal daily roasting. Just like a YouTube comment section. More so an Instagram one. They're more brutal. You reach into your pocket for your cool new shades, but you appear to have left them at your friend's house. Fuck. You gotta get yourself together. The recent physical trauma and extensive blood loss has you a little fuzzy. You weren't built for this wilderness survival shit. You're starting to wish you'd just stolen a fucking Lamborghini or something instead of a spaceship. This seriously isn't looking good. The city is too far away now for you to turn back, so you have no choice but to keep walking. Maybe you can find a cave or a hole in the ground. Maybe you can just cover yourself with grass. You wish that someone had mentioned the Death Sun in between offering you alien meat products and calling you their muse. I know, the sun reel is crazy. Off to your left, in the distance, you catch sight of what might be the shimmer of sunlight on glass. A window, a solar panel. You could seriously clean up with renewable energy on this planet. Should you change your trajectory and go toward the shimmer, it might just be a mirage. I like how they give you that false sense of, something. False sense of hope. False sense of unhope. One of those. Forget it. Honestly, you could probably see this one coming. Wasn't that a great ending, guys? Go toward the shimmer. You turn your aching, stinging meat sack toward the distant, promising sparkle of safety and succor. I've read that word before. You focus on just staying upright, one step at a time. Just keep swimming or whatever. God, this sun though. You need an SPF 5 million for this nonsense. But then, almost like it has picked itself up to come scuttling to meet you, you suddenly find yourself in front of a long, low structure. You let out a yelp of anguish, pounding on the door. At least, you hope it's the door. What in the world? The door opens and you fall inside with one of the most pathetic whimpers of your career. There we go. Blessed darkness closes in on you. From right beside you comes a snuffling yip, like some joker is making fun of your dire situation. Something warm and wet lights up your stinging cheek. Hold on, lady. Give him some room. A pair of hands help you sit up gently. Your eyes haven't adjusted enough to make out more than a couple shapes, one upright and one lower to the ground. What were you doing out there? Can you stand? I hope you guys love this beautiful voice acting. Real. Strong arms pull you up to your feet. You wonder if everyone on this planet is strong, or if you are just extremely flimsy. They guide you to a chair at the end of a long table. Stutteringly, you begin to explain yourself, that you are an injured, exhausted traveler who is ravenous for pals. Real. I only recently put the air conditioning unit in the window of my office, and it feels so much better. One of the reasons I had woken up earlier from my nap was because it was so hot in my room because I didn't turn the AC on before I went to sleep. So it hurt. But it wasn't hot when I went to sleep either. Well, bless your heart. But hold on a tick. Dinner's about to burn. Now that your rescuer mentions it, you do smell something. It smells amazing. Funny you should just blunder in here like that. I was just saying, wasn't I, lady? It's been so long since we had any sort of guests who weren't Imperial drones or out to rob us. You rub at your watering, slowly clearing eyes, and when you look back up, your rescuer finally comes into focus. She's tall, taller than anyone else you've met here, you think. Also, maybe a little older. Not that you're an expert in troll physiology, she just has an air of knowledgeable competence. She's wearing a fringed jacket and holding up a plate. My reading is doing a lot better. I mean, yeah, that's certainly one way to describe her. I actually really liked her on my first playthrough. She's definitely going high on the tier list. There you go. Your oculars feeling... Fuck. Your oculars feeling any better? By the by, my name's Skyla. Pleasure to meet you. And this here's Lady. That's her Lucis. Fun fact, actually. If I remember correctly, she is a bronze blood, which means she can communicate with Luci better. Which is why they usually end up having to take care of them. She looks down, and at first you think she means the table. But then you look under the table at the giant monster dog looking up at you. You jolt so hard, you almost fly backward out of your goddamn chair. Whoa there! No need for no need for theatrics. It looks a little like one of those lassie dogs with the pointed noses, except enormous and pure white. I beg to differ. That does not look pure white. Its barks practically shake the whole house. Hey there, lady. No need to be rude. They've clearly had one hell of a time, and they don't look dangerous. Just really peculiar. Besides, if they try anything, you and me can take them. Skyla puts her hands on her hips, staring you down with thunderous yellow eyes. Honestly, I imagine she sounds like Applejack, but I can't do an Applejack voice. Not convincingly, anyway. Right? No funny business, you hear? You swallow and nod, trying to look unthreatening and obliging. Ready for anything. For instance, friendship. You're so ready for that. Fun fact about the, trying to look unthreatening and obliging. I had to go to an Earth store, right? For some human stuff. And, there was, like, this group of girls that kept staring at me, so I tried to, like, shrink up, and look as unthreatening as possible. Because I just didn't want them to, like, fuck with me, you know? Crazy story. Skyla sets down the plate she's holding. Here, have a grub cake! It's like a pancake, but with grub. Grub in this instance is a baby troll. A deeper voice? Yeah, I can't. I can't do that very well with an accent. There's plenty! That sounds gross as hell, but what's sitting on the plate looks and smells exactly like a normal pancake. Golden brown and crispy at the edges. There's boiled tree blood too, if you like. Oh, hold on. Let me write that down in my master document. Just casually, write shit. Let's see, what was it called? Boiled tree blood. It's a little crazy. Okay. I wrote it down. Yeah. Same here. It's easier for me to speak Japanese if I do it in a lower voice. Like, I'll just say something basic. 私の名前はNya-san. I paused. I paused for way too long. Oh god. Apologies. Churned dairy product. Also churned dairy product. I gotta write that down too, because I didn't write everything down on my first playthrough like I should have. Trolls like their dairy. Like, indigo bloods are obsessed with pouring milk on themselves. Sometimes. If they're really, into sports, specifically. She puts down a carafe of syrup and a dish of butter. Man, everything here has really weird names. Skyla pours out a cup of some very familiar smelling liquid. Brown bean juice, you guess. Interesting. Skyla raises an eyebrow. No. That's just coffee. Sorry, I lost my accent there. She sits down next to you. You're lucky you were the only one out in the light of dawn. Nobody wants to be out in direct Alternian sunlight besides J-Bloods. And no offense, but you certainly ain't any J-Blood that I've ever seen. At first, I thought you were some sort of mutated Lucis, 'cause you don't have horns, and you were grunting and yipping up a storm back there. But you're an alien, right? Don't worry. I won't call the drones. I'd bet get used to being around aliens anyway. Seeing as how I'm gonna be seeing a whole mess of y'all come next week. Essentially, she is, she's getting close to full maturity, and when trolls get to that age, they're sent off into outer space to go serve the Empress. Her Condus, I think her name was. And a sweep is a little over 2 years. So she's like 14 or 15. We're gonna like ignore what ages they are because it's honestly more work than it's worth. She laughs nervously. You aren't sure what she's talking about. Do you even need to specify that anymore? It's just natural law at this point. Gravity, the conservation of energy, and you don't know what the fuck is going on. Lady, would you mind drawing a Would you mind drawing a bath for our guest? No offense, but you smell like you could use one. It's funny, because a bathtub is called ablution trap. You can't argue with that. You offer her a cautious smile. God, she seems so nice and caring, but you've been burned before, and cut, and generally kicked around by fate. It's a tough world out there, but you want to trust Skyla. Lady takes a bucket in her muzzle and runs out into the yard, getting up on her hind legs and batting at the door latch to open it. It's adorable. The sun is high enough now that the whole landscape outside is washed in white. Oh god, the dog. Oh, it's sweet of you to worry. Lucy are fine going outside for a little while in the daylight. Their coats reflect light or something to that effect. I don't really know how it works. I ain't exactly known for my scientific acumen. You tell her that she seems pretty smart from where you're standing. As cynical as you are becoming, you can't just help trying to be her friend. She's so nice and, wow, really pretty. Not that that's a requirement for friendship, but your retinas would have to be way more scalded than they are to not notice that. That's nice of you to say, but it wouldn't even really matter if I was a bona fide genius. Someone of my caste could never hope to rise up in the ranks. Yeah, bronze bloods are second to lowest in the blood caste system. But best I can hope for is hauling crates on some cargo vessel. Ranks? Cargo vessel? You swallow your bite of grub cake, ready to ask her if she is thinking about joining the military, but just then a swell of noise erupts from outside the house. Shouts, crashes, and Lady's frantic barks. Skyla gasps and launches herself out of her chair, knocking over the carafe of syrup. It oozes across the tabletop in a sticky wave. Oh no! Not now! What the hell is going on? Bandits! Goddamn Lucis thieves! You don't get the chance to ask anything else before Skyla careens toward the door, throwing up an arm as blazing white light pours in. Oh god, she's gonna go outside and burn up. She isn't thinking straight. You've got to do something. The bad end is deeply depressing. I won't make you guys see that for now. What the hell? You've already experienced the Alternian sun. It sucked a whole lot. Maybe now will suck less, because of how bad it sucked then. Just a sliding scale of suckage. Skyla plunges out into the daylight in the direction of the commotion, and like a big dumb asshole, you barrel out into the blazing hellscape after her. Surprise! It still sucks. You've had sunburns before, But this is ridiculous. This is a fucking monster of a gas giant pointing and laughing at the tiny speck of humanity you represent, trembling before the void. It's a pure assault on all your senses. The light is almost as bad as the heat, and you put up your arms to block the glare, following the dust Skyla kicks up behind her. You doubt your eyes will actually ever adjust to this fuckery, but you can see a little better than before. There are about a dozen of them, all of them trolls, all wearing dark, padded outfits that cover their faces. They look halfway between hazmat suits and SWAT uniforms. I know. So sad. Don't worry, you guys will get your dose of depression soon. All of them have big, fake-looking guns that probably aren't fake. In fact, one of them shoots a laser at your face. You duck, and it leaves a blazing heat trail across your cheek. But as all of you is currently burning, it doesn't really break your stride. Skyla throws herself into the fray, letting out a war cry accompanied by the sound of a fist hitting flesh. It's 12 against 2, which, if you remember your fractions right, is not unlike 6 against 1. But these guys had probably not been expecting a frontal assault, and they had definitely not been expecting a Skyla, who's frankly fucking terrifying. She shoves 3 trolls down like dominoes, grabbing up a discarded gun and shooting all 3 while they're on the ground. Damn. You have never been in a fight before, a fucking all-out brawl. It's scary, but now that you are in the thick of it, also kind of awesome? Sure, your skin is burning and you could be killed at any moment, but that's just how it goes on this planet. You just gotta get into the swing of things. Take no prisoners, kill or be killed, hell yeah. You pop one of the bandit trolls in the face. Fuck, that probably hurt your fist more than it hurt the troll, but it does throw them off balance for long enough for Skyla to smash the butt of her gun into the side of their head. Yeehaw! Hell yeah! She gives you a wild grin. The two of you are beaming at each other while a hostile alien sun tries to boil away the liquid from your eyeballs, and a bunch of bandits try to dognap a giant monster. You love this girl. In a friendship way. But still, you love her. You make an awesome team. Another troll comes up behind Skyla, and she smashes an elbow into their throat, grabbing them by the front of their uniform and suplexing them onto the dusty ground. She wails on them with her bare hands. God, she's really hot. Get lady! Oh, right. You stumble over to where the Lucis is thrashing inside a big black net. You don't have any way to cut her free, but she's already doing great on her own, biting through the fibers with her big, sharp teeth. You hold the net still for her to finish the job, then pull it off her so she can join the fray. It's over fast after that. How did they even get Lady into the net in the first place? She's so giant and quick, grabbing trolls in her jaws and shaking them like chew toys. The remaining 5 who are still standing jump into their weird little dune buggies and make tracks. Emphasis on the bug. They look like scuttling little beetles. Said that weird. Scuttling little beetles. Skyla chases after them for a few hundred yards, throwing the gun after them and shouting obscenities. And stay away, you hear? Tell the rest of them why you don't ever fuck with a Rusty's Ranch. She stands silhouetted against the blazing sun, the dust trails vanishing into the distance. You are awash in heavy victory, giggling like a lunatic before the adrenaline kind of drains out of you all at once. You are violently reminded of your fucked up ribs and recent blood loss. The Alternian sun beats down, and your arms are already covered in raised patches of red skin. This is a sunburn turned up to 11. Oh there, are you okay? Skyla is swaying too. A spray of olive green blood covers her cheek. At least the rainbow blood on this planet means you can be sure it isn't of hers. But she still looks rough. Kind of how you feel. Lady, come here, girl. Wow, you're just gonna sit down. Maybe just take a little break? The pale landscape swoops, going even paler. No, you can't rest here. You'll die, dumbass. I'm not letting anything Fuck. I'm not letting anything happen to my new best friend. Get up. New best friend? Holy shit. That makes you so happy. You absolutely can't die here. Not when you've just made such an amazing friend. Somehow, the two of you manage to drag each other across the yard and toward the house. Hive. You're gonna get this lingo down if it kills you. Whenever you feel yourself about to fall forward, you lean on Skyla. When you start to fall back, Lady is there to brace herself against the back of your knees. She's such a good Lucis. You wonder if she'll be your friend too. Her muzzle is dripping with a soup of multicolored alien blood. When you get back into the darkness of the hive, you can't see shit. Dang, your species really ain't suited for this kind of environment, huh? You can't even see in the dark. In demonstration, you walk right into the table. You've about had it with tables. You are sworn enemies at this point. Please don't knock down my nutrition platform. I built it myself. She sounds exhausted but giddy. Dang, you really did that thing, didn't you? You kind of want to go in for the hug, but that sunburn is really something. It feels like tiny needles piercing your arms and cheeks. The back of your neck is a colony of fire ants. Oh yeah! Feels real bad, don't it? Come on, there's only one cure for sun rash. Skyla takes her hand. Gosh, this is next level friendship stuff. She leads you through her hive, and who knows if you're ever gonna get all of your vision back. Maybe you're just blind for life. You'll have to get a cane and a whimsical aesthetic, and learn to navigate the world by smell alone. No, that'd be stupid. Hey, that references one of the Homestuck characters. That's referencing Terezi, I think. Oh wait, I don't think I... Here we go. My coop isn't huge, but you're kind of scrawny. What are you waiting for? Take your clothes off. Man, the sun must have fucked with more than just your eyes, because you could have sworn Skyla just told you to take your clothes off. You are seriously not getting into my Recuperacoon in those filthy rags. I'm not even sure what those clothes were supposed to be originally. Yeah, you aren't so sure about your look either. Another friend of yours told you it was rad, but you were both a little high at the time. You might be a little high right now. You wonder if sunstroke causes auditory hallucinations. Also, you don't know what a Recuperacoon is. Really? Then what the heck do you sleep in on your planet? You hear rustling, followed by the sound of clothes hitting the floor, and then a weird gloop gloop, like someone is getting into a bathtub, only thicker. If a troll didn't have soper, well, I don't rightly know what would happen. But I reckon it wouldn't be great. Yeah, essentially if they don't have soper, they have nightmares. It can speed the healing process for burns and small wounds. I'm not sure what it's gonna do to your weird alien anatomy, but I don't see as how it's gonna make it any worse. You tell Skyla that in your experience, things can always get worse, especially from her perspective right now, since she's about to see you naked. Nothing like a little self-deprecating humor as an A+ cover for crippling insecurity. A reference to the dictionary. Look, man, I'm just a little autistic. Gerudo Desert VGM? Don't know what you're talking about. I cannot lie. Skyla laughs. Oop, not what I meant to do. Come on now. I'm sure you're a perfectly healthy example of your species. Just get in already. I promise this isn't any sort of pale solicitation. What that means is, pale is another term for moirail, which is a very close platonic relationship. Oh, from Zelda. I never got to play the games when I was younger. When I was a younger goddess, of course. Or flushed, for that matter. And I think that's referencing, mate spritz, which is, like, closer to human romantic relationships. I know it's awkward, but I only got one coop. Right, okay, yeah, you can totally do this. You can make this not weird. Of course, you trip taking off your goddamn pants, and Skyla starts laughing all over again. Not in a mean way, more in a chill, please join me in my slime bathtub old chum way. In a non-awkward way. In a friend way. Yay! I'm sorry. I was kind of sheltered, like, game-wise, because I, grew up poor. I know, it's a really good ending. And the other one is really, 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 really depressing. Let me finish my muffin before I do that. No, it's friendly. Yeah, I know. Don't worry. I could connect the dots. But I do appreciate you clarifying. I think out of all the characters, the one that tries to hit on the player the most is Zebra. This dude. Fucking hate him. She kind of hits on the player a little bit. They kind of do as well. And her. And her. Let's see. Sort of her. This one kind of does. And this one does. Love how I can just point that out. I'm such a loser. Oh, I forgot to save on the choice. Okay. Well, there wasn't a point in saving because I already did the other option. Oh. Alright. Stop her. Skyla is bigger than you, and she has the strength of both desperation and a superior Genemy? So you don't feel great about your chances, but you have to try. Skyla is too upset to be careful. You have to stop her from hurting herself. You stumbled into her house all gross and pathetic and alien, and she didn't turn you away. She gave you pancakes for Christ's sake. Grub cakes, whatever. And it isn't just the sun. From the number of voices, there's got to be 20 people out there. She doesn't stand a chance. You run up behind her and hook your arms under hers, hauling her back by the armpits. She struggles, jabbing her elbow into your aching ribs. Let me go! You don't understand. They'll take her. Lady! You hold grimly on, going limp and using gravity and your own dead weight to pull her down to the floor. Through wheezing breaths, you tell her she can't go out there. Didn't she just tell you that you'd never have survived if it had been later than dawn? You probably aren't making much sense, but you keep up a stream of worthless bullshit until someone catches. Would your Lucis really want this for you, Skyla? Would Lady really want you to sacrifice yourself for her? Skyla goes rigid, and then all the fight just drains out of her like blood down a drain. She sags back into your arms. The two of you watch Lady thrashing in a huge black net as several of the figures haul her away. The sun is too bright to see them clearly, but they appear to be herding more white creatures out of a paddock and into a collection of vehicles. The herd. She says it so quietly you feel it more than hear it. You continue to watch as Lady is packed into one of the vehicles and they drive away, kicking up clouds of dust that glimmer into the brutal sun. You can let me go now. I'm not gonna throw myself out into the daylight like a romance novel heroine. You realize just how tight you're holding onto her and loosen your arms, pulling away and sitting up. Skyla's cheeks are wet with tears, but she quickly shakes her hair into her face to hide it. That makes your heart hurt. You want to tell her that everything is going to be okay, but you make it a point not to lie to your friends. You have absolutely no idea how it's going to be. And before you can say anything at all, she gets up and disappears through a door and further into the house. You decide to mind your own business. Well, you do try the door, but it's locked. Best to keep occupied and do what you can for her. First, you shut the door to keep that sweltering heat and blinding light out. Then you tidy up the kitchen a little. Everything here is oddly textured and colored. The shape's unusually organic. Some of it is worryingly scuttly and alive. You do your best. You mop up the syrup and straighten the chairs. You're just trying to figure out how to get the sink to spit out some water into the dirty dishes when Skyla comes back out. Her eyes are dry and her hair is combed back out of her face. Don't you worry about that. You're gonna break something. She plays with one of her beaded bracelets with nervous little fidgets of her fingers. Does she have bracelets? I can't tell. I could never have taken those fellas by myself, especially not in broad daylight. I want to thank you for stepping in and stopping me. I was overwrought. She doesn't have bracelets. You nod, accepting her thanks. She doesn't seem overwrought anymore, just numb. Wow, this is actually a legitimately terrible situation. Not even in a dumb, zany way like all the other horse shit that has happened to you recently. You wonder who those guys even were. Lucis thieves. They've come before, but always at night and never in such large numbers. So Lady and me could always take them. I never expected anything like this. for them to come out in force like this in the middle of the day. She sits down at the table, putting her elbow in a patch of syrupy mist. You offer her the dishcloth and notice several little discolored patches on her arm. It looks like she got burned just from having her arm out the door for like a minute and a half. You're really glad you didn't let her go out there. You've endured a lot of heinous shit on your short span on this planet. Injuries, and lots of added insults to those injuries. But the time you spend with Skyla waiting for the sun to go down is some of the worst and most hopeless, my bad. You don't know what to say to help her. You aren't actually her friend. You aren't even the same species. The troll-Lucis relationship is a little confusing, but they seem to be some combination of caretaker and pet, more symbiotic than parent and child. Finally, it gets late enough to venture outside, and you follow Skyla out into the empty paddock. There's nothing out here but a broken fence and trampled ground. Lots of kids lose their loose eye. It's just a part of life. I would have been heading into the ordeals next sweep anyway. I would have never seen her again. But at least I would have gotten the chance to say goodbye, you know? It's kind of a bummer how resigned everyone on this planet seems to terrible things happening. Then again, you guess that's sort of true on your planet too. Existence, just a goddamn mess. You try to give her the most understanding look you can, just a really good and supportive friend face. You're killing it. But Skyla isn't paying attention to your glowing facade. She's reaching into her jacket and pulling out her phone. What the hell? My palm husk is blowing up. Oh god. Skyla drops her phone in the dirt and claps a hand over her mouth. Her eyes sparkle with tears. You pick it up. It's kind of squishy and squirms in your hand a little, which you don't love. You also don't love what's on the screen. It's a troll in a mask holding a gun on Lady, who is still in that net, baring her teeth. The gun looks fake, kind of like a Nerf gun. You bet it's not a Nerf gun. The photo is accompanied by more of that spiky text that you can't read. Hey, how can you understand the Alternian spoken language, but not the written? You decide not to think about it too hard. Waste of time. They sent a ransom demand. They say that if I can't pay, they'll sell her. Troll Luci are valued for their strength all over the galaxy. The Harris knows about the black market, but she doesn't do anything about it. She just takes a cut. You ask her how much the ransom demand is for, as if you have a penny to your name. She tells you a number that sounds stupidly large, even without knowing the exchange rate to Earth money. They're just mocking me. They know a bronze blood can't afford this. They just want to force me to fail her one more time. Her voice breaks on a sob. You reach over and put your hand on her arm. She looks at you with big watery eyes, and you brace for her to fall into your arms sobbing. You're actually kind of hoping for it. Not that you're the type to want to profit off another's pain, but you're pretty sure that offering comfort in a time of crisis is a first-class ticket to Friendsville. Instead, Skyla gives you a hard shove backward. You take 2 stumbling steps and fall on your ass. Something squishes underneath you. A cow pat or something alive. You aren't sure which you'd prefer, honestly. Sorry. I didn't actually push you that hard. Your species just seems pretty flimsy. I don't want sympathy right now. Especially not from you. She stands framed between the 2 moons, some trick of perspective making her look just as distant and just as sad. Not that moons are inherently sad. Whatever, that's not the issue right now. Had Skyla been lying to you before when she said she doesn't blame you? She'd even thanked you for stopping her from killing herself. Nah, I don't blame you. I just can't stand the sight of you. Looking at you just reminds me of losing Lady, and I don't think that'll ever change. Sorry. I was really hoping we could be friends. It's been a really long time since I've seen anybody here that goes on 2 legs instead of 4. But I just don't think it's gonna work out. If you start walking now, you can probably make it to the city before sunrise. Or there's a J-Blood colony nearby if you want to inflict your personal brand of assistance on them. Bye. You leave with your proverbial tail between your legs, and the last glimpse you get of Skyla, she's standing next to the empty paddock, staring at the ground. Isn't that sad as shit, dude? I love how the endings look like they're in Emma's paint. Why is that? To me, it's like really sad, but it gives you a lesson on how it is to be a lower blood like that. Yeah, that sounds about right. Hold on. Let me get out the tier list. Alright. Two actually good ones. It's crazy. What? There she is. Think I'll put her up here. Yes, I'm satisfied with this choice. So what's the one good ending? This one? What was the one that you... What is the other one in the 2 that you changed into bad? The one from last stream. I'm assuming the Sarava ending, the one where you get popular online or something. Oh. Which bad ending? Like the one where you fuck off in the first choice, or the other one? I actually can't remember the other ending. I can't lie. Alright, Bronya time. I have to figure out what kind of voice I'm gonna give her. Yeah, just get out. You've been traveling through a cave network for a while now. The rigid stone is a welcome respite from the eerily organic infrastructure you've been encountering, but it is also proving an unwelcome respite from friend making. Yeah, kind of was. Maybe, perchance-bly. Maybe leaving the big city behind was a horrible mistake. Just maybe these dark, cold tunnels are completely devoid of, oh, hang on, there's a bunch of buildings in the distance. Oh, hello. I thought you were one of my girls. We don't look like a jade blood, or anything else, actually. How strange. You convey your usual spiel regarding your circumstances. You are lost and lonely, and your ribs are still broken, you think. Honestly, the ribs are fine. You could just use another friend or two. I see. My first responsibility is to my jades and the mother grub, so I can't make any promises of friendship just yet. But you do look like you need someone to take care of you. Here in the Brooding Caverns, we follow a few simple rules. 1. Don't invite drama from up top down below. 2. Protect the mother grub. 3. We have no hierarchy, but do what I say. Let's do everything we can to keep our current record of dozens of sweeps without any Janes being cold. I feel like I say cold weird. So her typing quirk, when she's excited, she adds the V's, and she likes to list things. You're not sure what half of those words mean, but you nod your head. Good, I'll take you to our hive. Follow me. You follow her into her hive, which looks like a school or some kind of dormitory, with multiple rooms and multiple floors. Usually, more of my jades are around. I suppose that everyone is out watching the Imperial drones arrive with the filial pails. Oh no. Girls, we have a visitor to our caverns. Oh yeah, most of the Jade Bloods are women, by the way. There's only like one male Jade Blood that we know of. 1. Do not be alarmed by their bizarre appearance. They seem to be harmless and quite weak. 2. Do not give them more injuries than they already have. Our visitor deserves a warm Jade Blood welcome. She claps her hands. No one else is around, but you stand to attention and give her the thumbs up to show that you read her loud and clear. Literally that one guy. Oh. You notice that she called you visitor and not friend, but that's okay. You can do whatever it takes until you're upgraded from visitor to friend, or at least charity case. I know, you're hilarious. Gotta be to enjoy the highbrow humor of the Nya-san YouTube channel. You follow her upstairs and she stops at a big room on the second floor. When you step into it, you have to clap your hand over your mouth to keep from gagging at the revolting sight. There are big, baby-sized larvae-looking things all over the floor, scrubbing around and crying and inchworming out of kiddie pools of green slime. What the hell? So these are grubs. They're basically babies. All trolls used to look like that. Exactly, you're spitting facts. Hold on, I got a message I need to respond to. someone was asking me, what game this was. This is our nursery. Most of these wigglers are sick or injured, so we look after them in here until they're well enough to go back out to the caverns and spin their cocoons. She looks shifty all of a sudden, giving you some side-eye like she's sizing you up. You try to look very non-threatening and also 100% trustworthy. We keep this nursery on the down low. It's not against any laws, but it's something of a break with tradition to save any of the grubs instead of just letting them die. Yes, I totally do. To tell you the truth, I'm not sure why we do it. I guess it just feels right to me to take care of them, the same way I take care of my jades. A nursery, huh? You look around again with this new information. You guess you can sort of see how the wigglers look like babies. Oh, shit, you're right. Yeah. Oh yeah, that weirdly reminds me. YouTube is trying to limit what I can do on my channel. Like, I supposedly can't pin comments anymore. I don't know how true that is, because I don't pin comments that much anyway. For real. I'm just so good at rhythm games. You can't believe that one of these things could grow up into anything that looks like Branya, but this is an alien planet, so who knows. She takes you over to a shelf that seems to hold medical supplies. You're not sure what can be done for your broken ribs, but maybe she has some kind of alien technology that can help. When she starts going through the cabinet, you don't see anything that looks high-tech like the thing that fixed your arm. I guess that most of what we have is stuff for the wigglers, and I'm not familiar enough with your bizarre anatomy to know if it'll help. But if you're not completely sure how to do something, it's best to try anyway. 1, even if you fail, everyone else can still learn from your mistake. 2, maybe you won't fail. You never know. You're not so sure about applying this ethos to your broken ribs, but she looks so determined. It might be rude to say no. Go for it. My ribs are already broken, so where's the harm? It might have been, if I'm being honest. Okay, come here. Lift up your shirt so I can get to your injured bellow sack enclosures. Yes, like that. Turn the part that's all bloody and horrifying towards me. She has something that looks kind of like ointment. It's a shade of bright green and similar to the slime beds you see around the nursery. And it also seems to be glowing. Seems like there's nothing wrong about applying it to your skin. But despite your optimism, the second Branya rubs some of it on your broken skin, you feel a searing hot pain like you just got doused with poison. This is so ironic because this just does not happen in Skyla's route. You flinch back instinctively. Your momentum carries you too far, and as you step back up, you trip on something behind your feet. You cartwheel your arms, but it's no use. You're going down. You're yelling timber. You feel something soft and squishy break your fall, and you hear a terrible squelching noise and some kind of animal squeal. You have fallen right onto one of the wigglers. You roll off of it, but there's no use. It's squished flat, and you're covered in olive fluid that you might think be... Fuck me, dude. Olive fluid that you think might be its blood. You look up to see Branya's horrified face, and know that there is no hope for friendship in those vengeful eyes. You might want to run, before I throw you out this window and break the rest of your bones. Alternia's deadliest ass. Also, she looks so cool like this. Alright. Thanks, but no thanks. I'll heal on my own just fine. Oh, well, if you're sure. I'm worried about you, though. You seem like you need help, and I wish I could help you more. If I can't take care of someone, I'm not sure how we can ever truly be friends. Fun fact, by the way, if we go based off of my birthday, and zodiac sign, the blood cast I would get assigned is actually Jade. If you guys put your birthday in the chat, I will tell you what blood cast you are. It's one of my favorite things to do for people. You try to cheer her up, pointing out that friendship is a two-way street after all. She doesn't have to concern herself with your mutilated frame. How can you help her instead? July 23rd. Alright, let me refer to my list. Ooh, you are just in the area of an olive blood. So, you were almost a lime blood, but you are an olive. Out of all of the low bloods, they're actually, the highest of them. Kind of near the middle class territory. They're commonly soldiers or assassins or just in the general area of killing people. And they're strong and kind of cat-like sometimes. For a good example, Nepeta from the normal Homestuck series. May 26th. You are a gold blood, which actually tends to be some of my favorites. They have something called psionic energy, which produces like energy that they can use to like do things like charging stuff or whatever. It's like having electricity powers. And the psionic energy also makes your eyes like two different colors. Let me grab an example real quick. That might be a bad example. Okay. So, for example, this guy. He has two different eye colors, and they're, usually bright. But, they have that power, and they can also contract something called Void Rot, which makes their eyes completely black, and they can't produce their own energy anymore, so they're essentially dying, and they basically need to be hooked up to another person who can produce psionic energy for them that they can feed off of to, you know, survive. Otherwise, they just die. They're also once they reach age of maturity and go to serve the Empress in space, they are also the most likely to be turned into batteries. And even then, only the best psionic users become those batteries. So it just kind of sucks. But the characters who are Gold Bloods are so fucking interesting to me. They're so cool. They're also kind of nerds sometimes, like Solix and Cuprum. They are kind of chronically online. And Cuprum, he's a 4chaner, so that should clue you in a little. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Well, sure. There are things around here that I could use some assistance with. However, don't take this the wrong way, but we've only just met. I don't know that I can trust you to be as responsible as I am. It's not easy to be the one in charge. You have to be, conscientious, considerate, and competent at all times. You try to think of times in your life when you've been not saying that, considerate, or competent. You're drawing a bit of a blank, but hey, new planet, new you. You assure her that you have what it takes. No, Spamton is yellow and pink, if I remember correctly. And his was yellow and purple. I guess if you want to prove that you can be responsible, I can let you help me out today. It's a good time for a visit to the Mother Grub. Do you want me to tell you, what blood cast you would get? You're careful to step around all the little guys on the floor as you head out of the nursery. She takes you back outside, and these caverns are even bigger than you first realized. They're also dark and cold and gloomy, and you can't see anywhere that might lead up to the planet's surface. Does she really just live down here all the time? Aw, alright. To make some conversation during this cold hike in a damp cave, you mentioned that living underground like this seems kind of depressing. You realize too late that this wasn't very tactful, but she doesn't get angry at your conversational gambit of insulting her home. Oh no, it's very peaceful down here. Well, in comparison to anywhere else. I quite enjoy it. The brooding caverns are a place for life and birth, not death. That's pretty uncommon on Alternia. You're still not sure what she means by brooding caverns, but you guess it has something to do with the wigglers in her nursery. Before you can ask, you reach the top of a ridge and get a new, wider view of the rest of this cavern. It's enormous, probably the size of a small city. All over the cave floor, you see more wigglers crawling everywhere. Cocoons line the cave walls and the larger stalactites, with some young trolls crawling out of them. Walking, flying, and crawling among the wigglers and young trolls are a variety of white monsters, all of all kinds and shapes and sizes. In the center of the cavern, there is... you don't even know how to describe it. It looks like a huge, many-legged queen bug of some kind, with a goat-shaped skull and horns coming out of her head. Her bulbous sphincter ripples as she lays a continuous stream of hundreds of eggs, from which you assume the gray wigglers will hatch. And marching through all this, you see several hulking bipedal creatures, each carrying 2 buckets either to or away from the mother grub. So what's happening here, basically, when you go through the motion of, doing the deed, you do it into a bucket, and then drones take that bucket, mix it up into a slurry, and then the ones taking the buckets are going up to the mother grub and, for lack of a better word, putting it inside to make more eggs. There's your sex ed lesson, I guess. They look armed, and they move like regimented troops, soldiers of some kind. You're instinctively terrified of them. This is where the magic happens, and by that, I mean the continuation of our species. Nah, you totally did. Jadebloods like myself are entrusted with looking after this process, which is of course a very special job. 1. The Imperial drones carry filial pails of genetic material to the mother grub for her slurry. 2. She lays eggs that hatch new grub broods. 3. After the wigglers emerge from their cocoons, the new trolls will go through the trials, and the ones that make it will be selected by Lucis to help care for them. 4. Together, the young trolls and their Luci go up to the surface together, where the trolls will grow up, or get cold, or whatever. As Bronya explains troll reproduction to you, one of the Imperial drones veers sharply to the left, and in the process tramples over a few wigglers and young trolls. The drone continues on, but several of the Luci cry out, crowding around their dead or injured charges. One of them, a gigantic beast that resembles a bison, bellows and rears up on its hind legs, hitting one of the other Luci with its front hoof. Oh geez, not again. This kind of damage controls a lot of what we have to deal with. Whenever Lucis goes rogue out of grief or confusion, there's the potential for it to lash out at other Luci, the Wigglers, or the Mother Grub herself. We Jadebloods cannot let that happen. She looks so concerned, a marked contrast to how confident she's seemed before now. You offered to help her out earlier, and it seems like now's your chance. Someone has to stop that rogue Lucis, and that someone could be you? Fight the monster. Save the day. You've got this. The bison Lucis seem to be causing quite a ruckus. Other Luci have now gotten riled up too, with some of them trying to gather wigglers to keep them out of harm's way, and others just getting hyped to thrash. It seems like it could turn into a monster stampede, and they're close to the mother grub's big, soft, vulnerable abdomen. Not great. Fighting a monster single-handed seems like a daunting first step in a friendship, but you did tell her you could be responsible. You square your shoulders and tell Bronya that she has nothing to worry about. You're going to stop that Lucis, calm down all the other Luci, and protect the mother grub, all without breaking a sweat and hopefully without breaking any more bones either. Whoa there, I was gonna suggest that I go after it while you stay here. You seem kind of weak and fragile, even apart from your injuries, I mean. I don't want you to get hurt worse, and I'm not sure I trust anyone other than myself to take the lead on this. That wasn't quite the reaction you were hoping for. Normally, you'd be all about sitting back and letting her protect you, because, well, protective and responsible is a good look on her. But desperate times call for desperate measures, and you don't know how else you're going to prove yourself worthy to be her friend. You do your best to project an air of confidence, or at least competence. You assure her that this is no sweat for you. You take down Raging Bison back on your home planet all the time. You're known for it, actually. Well, if you say that this isn't your first time ungulate roping gallop exhibition, I'll believe you. She means rodeo. I'm jumping. I need to write that down too. Man, I can't spell. Okay. I'll hang back to let you give it a shot. But if it gets too overwhelming in there, I'm right here. 1. Caring for the mother grub is my responsibility as a Jadeblood. 2. I'd never abandon a friend to deal with a mess on their own. If we end up being friends, that is. Oh, hell yes. Now you have reason to hope. You approach the rampaging bison with caution. Do all bison have horns like that? Maybe they do. You're no bison expert, but you're pretty sure that they don't all have teeth that nasty. Bison on Earth mostly eat grass, don't they? This guy doesn't look like a herbivore. At first you try to calm the Lucis down by talking to it, but your soothing words have no effect. In fact, you might have just made it even angrier by suggesting that it pause and take some deep breaths in reaction to its trampled charge. You're not even sure it can understand human speech, come to think of it. You circle around it, wishing that you had some kind of lasso or something. Maybe you can herd it away from the mother grub. You look around to see if any of these other Luci look vaguely like Earth shepherd dogs, but no dice. You hesitate too long and the Lucis turns away, its furious eyes falling on the mother grub. It stamps its hooves, snorts air out of its nostrils, and screams in a way that sounds a lot more hellish than you imagine normal bison are capable of. God, I am struggling here. It's obviously about to charge, and you can only think of one thing to do. In desperation, you leap forward and tackle it football style, doing everything you can with your flimsy human body to drag it onto its side. It half works. You plow into the Lucis and stop it in its tracks, but it topples over onto a nest of wigglers, taking you down with it. Wigglers and young trolls go bouncing everywhere, squealing in distress, and their Luci descend upon you in a rage. Everything is chaos for a while. You're trapped beneath the bison Lucis, which is very worrying for all your body parts, and you think you might feel something important rupturing inside you. But hey, on the bright side, this crushing mass is protecting you from all the other pissed off Luci trying to attack you. Just as your whole breathing situation is starting to get dicey, you hear a commotion and what sounds possibly the trouncing of some of the smaller Luci that were trying to get to you. The crowd of beasts around you scatters, and then you hear her. Oof. I'm having a hard time getting this thing off of you, and he's still very angry. He keeps trying to kick me. Where's a bronze blood when you need one? Surprisingly closer than she may think. You don't know what that means, but you're very grateful that she's here to help you. You try to communicate this, but it comes out garbled from all the blood in your mouth. Maybe don't try to speak, or move, or help. You experience a sinking feeling that could be related to your diminishing odds of impressing Branya and becoming her friend. Or it could be the compression of all your internal organs. Either way, it's tough to feel optimistic right now. But before you can give in to complete despair, you hear other voices. Your view is blocked by the massive bison flesh on top of you, but could it be? Are these other people here to save you? Finally, I was wondering where y'all had gone off to. Let's all work together, girls. 1. You two grab his horns to keep the head still and keep it from biting anyone. The rest of you come around with me to its backside so we can push it without getting kicked. You hear some grunting and muttering, and the bison starts making noises that sound more confused and less furious. The pressure and pain on your chest briefly spike in intensity as the thing's weight shifts, and then they must succeed in dragging it off you because suddenly you can hear... Jesus. Suddenly you can breathe again. How did I get here out of that? But the crisis is not yet over. While you're still testing the use of your lungs and blinking up at the cavern ceiling, you hear a new cacophony of enraged monster noises. Uh-oh, the other Luci is still agitated. Get down there and try to calm them down. Protect the mother grub! You try to lift yourself to see what's going on, but putting any weight on your arms makes you feel like maybe all your bones got turned to confetti. Painful, painful confetti. You feel strong hands propping you up gently, and now your head is in Branya's lap. You try to focus more on how this is a nice place for your head to be on, and less on the pain. This is not good. I don't know if my jades can reach the stampede in time, and the mother grub could get injured. Not to mention all these wigglers are in danger. Oh no. You didn't think the situation could get any worse, But now you see that several of the Imperial drones that had been about to leave the cavern are turning back, drawn by all the noise and chaos. But maybe this could be a good thing. Maybe they can instill some order. Fuck, they're gonna kill everyone! She scrambled to her feet, in the process letting your head whack down on the cave floor. Your vision swims, but you can still make out the drones firing indiscriminately. At the Luci, at the Grubs, and the Wigglers, and at the Jadebloods. One laser beam skims the side of the Mother Grub's massive midsection, and her scream is so loud that the ceiling shakes and a few stalactites shake loose, falling on drones and Luci and Wigglers alike. It's a total catastrophe. A whole rainbow's worth of Troll, Wiggler, and Lucis blood is splattering the cavern walls. Bronya seems paralyzed by the chaos, looking from her jades to the Mother Grub to the imperialed Wigglers, like she's not sure who to help first. I can't believe it. This is the worst disaster we've ever had down here. And all because I thought I could sit back and let someone else be responsible for once. If I were a less secure person, I could let this moment plant a seed of self-doubt in my mind about my ability to take care of others and do my job well. Or I could chalk it up to being really fucking stupid. You shrink under the weight of her glare. She's green in the face from how angry she is. I'd argue that looks pretty fucking purple, dude. You swallow and manage to spit out enough blood to ask a question that you already know is hopeless. Does this mean you can't be friends? Are you serious right now? I do not make friends with anyone who recklessly endangers the trolls and wigglers under my care. You killed them all! It's funny how in both bad endings, you end up killing someone. Let's see, we have... not sure what type of green these are. One of them is olive. Think the other might be jade. Gold, bronze, rust. I think that's an indigo. It's either an indigo or cerulean. Ooh, and that's a fuchsia. Damn. Alright, time for the good ending. Be a weenie. You definitely do not like the idea of wading into a monster fight, not even to save the progenitor of your new friend's species. In fact, you don't like that Bronya is so focused on protecting all these helpless toddlers and distressed animals instead of taking care of you. Damn, we're kind of a dick, I guess. You stammer out that you don't think you can take on any kind of monster right now. In fact, you just felt another stab of pain in your ribs. You might be blacking out. Bronya's concerned face turns in your direction as you start to swoon. She catches you before you hit the ground and your heart flutters. I know. That face is definitely warranted. You look up at her serious face, and she looks like such a mom, but also such a friend. Like some sort of combination of those two concepts. Wow, she's the mom friend. Yikes, you don't look so good. I can't leave you alone, not when you're in such bad shape. Maybe I could carry you on my back while I try to stop the rampaging Lucis? Your heart flutters turn to pinpricks of alarm. That sounds dangerous, mainly for you. You try to think of what you can say to dissuade her. Something other than, I think you should ignore the helpless babies and mother in danger behind you in favor of continuing to hold me in your strong arms. But before you can speak, you hear a commotion behind her. She turns to look over her shoulder, and her face sags with relief. Yes, the other Jades are here. They should know what to do. We've taken care of crises like I'm jumping. We've taken care of crises like this before. Of course, usually I'm there to help. If you crane your neck, you can just glimpse a crowd of trolls corralling the rogue Lucis away from the Mother Grub, while other trolls calm the remaining Luci and swoop up any wigglers in harm's way. Looks like I needn't have worried. They're more than capable of stepping in while I'm otherwise occupied. I'm so proud! You take this opportunity to compliment her on what a good leader she must be, to have trained the others so well. Super smooth. She beams at you and sets you down carefully on the cavern floor, kneeling at your side. This could have gone quite badly. I'm glad I didn't make the wrong choice when I stayed to help you instead of rushing off. It just goes to show, sometimes the best thing you can do for the group is to take care of the weakest person in it. Kind of want to object to being called the weakest person, but you did just fake a fainting spell for attention, so maybe now isn't the best time. Instead, you thank her sincerely for sticking by your side. The two of you watch together as order is gradually restored to the chaos below, and even with your injuries, you feel close to content and quite hopeful about how this relationship is progressing. You notice that at your side, several wigglers are blindly squirming around, confused and crying. There are some young trolls here too, looking around all lost and bereft. You're not sure if their Luci ran off with the others that got involved in the fracas, or if these little guys are orphans now. Now that you're seeing them out in the natural cavern light, the wigglers look less like maggots to you. In fact, they're even kind of cute. You can see why Branya would want to take care of them. One of the smallest wigglers closest to you has somehow flipped himself onto his back and seems unable to right himself, his little legs waving in the air while he cries. Trying to be careful with your ribs, you reach out to scoop him up and cradle him to your chest, rocking him back and forth until his cries quiet down. Wow, you have a very strong nurturing instinct. I think he likes you. You almost look like you could be his Lucis. Or a Jadeblood. Never wish that on anyone. That's like saying someone's prettier than Aphrodite. It's begging for trouble. Because basically, being a Jadeblood condemns you to stay in the Brooding Caverns for your entire life. And then, when you become an adult, you have to live in solitude forever. It's not fun. You are pleased that she approves of your caretaking display. The Wiggler's cough breaks through your haze of smug satisfaction, and when you look down, you realize that he seems to be having some trouble breathing. You point this out to Branya. Good observation. You really are natural at taking care of other creatures, aren't you? Some people find that nurturing ability to be very attractive in a potential friend. But as for the Wiggler, this is definitely not a good sign. I'm surprised none of these drones have noticed that he's sick. If we leave him here, he'll be cold for sure. Branya takes the Wiggler from you, and you're more than happy to hand him over, considering that you have no idea what to do with a sick baby that's not your species. Also, your broken ribs make holding a baby kind of painful, and Branya holds the Wiggler carefully, both perfect ease, just like you hope she'll cradle your new friendship in its infancy. Once Branya feels assured that her Jades have the situation at the Brooding Caverns under control, you both take the Wiggler back to the Jadeblood nursery. You hover around uselessly while Branya sets up some kind of crib filled with green slime. You're a little concerned when she takes the Wiggler and submerges him under the slime because, like, he was already having trouble breathing. Surely drowning in slime won't help. The soaper should strengthen his bellow sacs and soothe his sorrow shoot. When he gets healthy again, I'll take him back to the cavern and set him free to make his cocoon and pupate. But he's so small, it's unlikely that he'll survive the trials or be selected by a Lucis. You hate to see Branya looking sad. You try to be sympathetic, mentioning your astute observation that this whole system set up with the Wigglers and the trials and the culling seems pretty brutal. What? Oh no, I would never suggest. This is just the way the world works, and it's fine. It's fine. The trials are how young trolls prove that they're strong enough to survive. It's only right for the weak to be cold. It's the purpose of Jadebloods to ensure the continuation of our species, and consequently, the hemospectrum. The hemo spectrum is what they call the blood caste system.
1. We are not revolutionaries. 2. We're meant to do our jobs and keep our heads down and keep things running smoothly. 3. I would never presume to question the basic tenets of Alternian society. That'd bring negative attention from the High Bloods, and I just want to keep my Jades safe.
Jade Bloods are like right in the middle of the hemo spectrum, and they're also generally very politically neutral. Which is funny, because it just makes me more befitting, because I'm always neutral in like everything. At least if I can help it. You look around at the nursery, and all these injured or underdeveloped wigglers that Bronya was apparently supposed to let die. You think it might not be true that she doesn't question the way her world works. She's looking at you like she's scared you'll call her on it and expose her altruistic tendencies. You try to salvage this conversation thread. Did you say that calling wigglers sounded brutal? You meant neutral. Yes, you feel 100% neutral on this topic. Neither committed to the culling side of things, nor eager to take up arms in revolution.
Ah, yes. Neutral is how I feel about it as well. What a good word to describe exactly how I feel about all controversial political subjects. Did I mention that keeping this nursery isn't technically illegal? Because it isn't. Technically. There is no reason for any of Triz's drones to come investigating our hive. And if any drones do come knocking, we have nothing to hide. No borderline revolutionary ideas will be tolerated within these walls.
Bronya laughs nervously and looks around the room, like she's making sure that any Imperial drones hiding in here heard her announcement. You feel bad for how nervous she is. You didn't mean to freak her out. You tell her that she sounds super convincing, and why shouldn't she, because she's clearly telling the truth. If you're an Imperial drone, you would definitely be satisfied right now with her clearly law-abiding in neutral ways.
Thank you. That means a lot.
You cast about for something to change the subject, and mention that your ribs are feeling a bit better. Bronya's face brightens, and she lifts your arm gently so she can touch the injured part of your torso, examining it in her typically responsible and authoritative way. You shiver and wonder if her touch has healing properties.
I'm glad to hear that. After all, I don't like it when my friends suffer.
Your heart leaps. You look up, scarcely allowing yourself to hope. Could it be? Or was she just making a general statement?
If you're not in any more pain, hopefully that means your injuries will heal soon. I'll take care of you until then, my friend.
You are overcome, your eyes filled with tears. Bronya smiles at you and squeezes your hand. Victory. Self-care comes first. I didn't even realize the symbol on her shirt. Wow. These wigglers are so well drawn, guys. Honestly, I think they were fairly normal, all things considered. There's definitely way weirder. Alright. I'm actually a big fan of Bronya. So I'm gonna put her here. What did you guys think? You should be scared. There's one where you literally piss yourself. The art on the tier list is, their art for the troll call, quote unquote, and it's also the art style of the webcomic. Let me see if I can find it. This thing. This is all the characters. a lot of them. And you can befriend all of them in the game. I know, right? Alright, I don't know if I can make it through the entire Volume 4, but I will do at least Tagora. Because my voice is getting very sore from reading. And also yapping, but that's my fault. Oh, huh, I'm behind on my own stream. Fresh from your most recent bout of gratuitous bodily injury and touching scenes of camaraderie, you soldier on. You've had a few setbacks, made a couple silly choices. Boy, do things just keep happening! But let nobody say that you, the main character, are incapable of growth and change. You have made sure not to be caught in the wilderness near dawn again. You have made your way back to civilization. You can't wait to discover what new adventures await you. Adventures like friendship. Ooh. I will give you guys a fair warning. This dude is a total sleaze fest. But he's also one of my favorites. Unsurprisingly. This guy looks so happy and he's so silly, but I like Tagora. Yeah. And my terrible reading. It started off good, and then I stopped processing what I was looking at. You wander down a street in fuck. You wander down a street in a not too demolished looking part of town, but you don't really take much of it in. You're not looking where you're going. This is an elementary mistake, especially on a planet where everything that exists seems to be on a spectrum of engineered specifically for murder, or could be a weapon in a pinch. But you've got a lot on your mind. It's bad because it reminds me of reading out loud in class, doing that popcorn reading shit, and it embarrasses me. I appreciate it. And now, as the car, these guys probably have some ridiculous word for it, but you haven't learned it, you hadn't noticed, slams into you, sending you flipping head over feet. You add a few new concerns to your list. Your bones and organs. The sound of the driver yelling, "Watch where you're going, lump squirt chugger," fades as they drive away, and you assess your situation. You stretch each limb in turn, which, you've got to say, doesn't feel great. You've landed in a bush which is covered in sharp spines. Your arms and legs all still work, though, and when you do an experimental cough, no blood comes out. Pretty lucky, you think. You may have redefined what luck means by this point in your journey, but you'll take what you can get. You don't figure that luck will extend to the driver turning around to help you out of this bush. Your gazes meet and sparkling an immediate and intense connection that leads to a beautiful lifelong friendship, but you let yourself hope. After a few minutes of struggle, the answer to your camaraderie daydreams comes into focus above you, a figure outlined by the spiny leaves of your plant prison and the glow of the moons. The troll you see isn't the driver of the car, but you don't care. Your heart is beating wildly with your continued lucky streak. Let me turn its music up because I actually like it. There, so it isn't too loud for you guys. So, his theme is called You Can Call Me Gore Gore. It's so funny. I know, right? Hello. You seem to have fallen victim to a collide and scamper with that scuttle buggy back there. So he's a lawyer that charges crazy, and this is essentially saying that. And this is the money sign on Alternia. Have you contacted your personal legislator? If not, I'd like to offer my services. Look how silly he looks, guys. He's a silly little guy. I like his eyebrow shape. My name is Tagora Gorjek, but please call me Gorgor. I'm here for you, for a nominal fee, of course. He pulls a business card from a sleek teal vest and offers it to you with a precise flick of the wrist. His claw beds are perfect. I don't think I have written down what claw beds are. He actually upholds justice, quote unquote. So technically, he stops the crimes, quote unquote. Though crimes and justice don't really mean anything on Alternia. Honestly, I don't know if his storyline will really help you that much, in that opinion. You try again to sit up, buoyed by this offer for assistance. He's some type of doctor, maybe? Or lawyer? It doesn't matter, really, because he said he was here for you. Those words go right ahead and burn themselves into the softest chamber of your heart. You start telling him your plight thus far, reaching up through the brambles toward this beacon of hope. This guy seems trustworthy, and that's not just your lack of options talking, you swear. As you shift, the moonlight shines on you. He steps back briefly, dropping the card. The one eye that's not covered by a swoop of product-infused hair opens wide. I like his concerned sprite. It looks so silly. He recovers, smoothing his hands down his chest and straining up, clearing his throat as you continue to explain. He really bounced back really fast between sprites. You're... what? Oh, yes. An alien, I knew that. I've done work with aliens before, so your situation shouldn't be an issue at all. Everyone deserves an equal opportunity to be represented by me. In fact, we may be able to use this in our favor for a larger cash settlement. It all depends on our angle. Here, try moving your chug column. You aren't sure why this is necessary, but you wiggle your torso, hoping that's right. You've never wanted anything more in your meager existence than to follow the specific directive perfectly. No, not that. I believe it chug column is the neck. Hold on. They have so many weird names for things, dude. You add a little hip jiggle, not so much that he might think it's a come on, but enough to say, hey, I'm friendly and I know what the fuck I'm doing. No, you're the thing that holds up your think pan. Work with me. You continue what you hope is a You continue what you hope is a part of a troll friendship ritual, shimming various parts of your anatomy deeper into the bush until you get to your neck. And he clasps his hands together. There we go.
That one hurt, didn't it? Definitely a case of column snap, which can get us a decently hefty restitution. Your neck feels fine, or it doesn't hurt any more than the rest of you, but you give him what you hope is a convincingly painful nod of agreement. Side of the war? That's crazy. Of course, you will need to front the initial legislation costs. We may also have to injure you further to ensure our case is convincing, but we've got to break a few cluckbeast embryos to make a grublet, as you well know. Yes, I think we may make a mutually beneficial team if you're willing to do what it takes to bring about the justice you deserve. So, what do you say? How'd you like to help me help you? He's talking really fast, and you're not sure exactly what to think about your lack of funds or the idea of breaking any more bones. But that smile is sharp and shiny and pointed right at you. You want more of it. Ask him if he does pro bono work. You thank him profusely for his offer to help, and explain that while your situation hasn't exactly got to be very rich, you'll pay him back in Glory's friendship, the most infinite of resources. You lay it on thick. He seems like a guy who can appreciate a good deal when he sees one, and you can't imagine a better deal than this. You reach both arms up, waiting for him to scoop you up out of this pain plant like the gentle baby you are. Sorry, I don't do charity. Such a shame, too. I was hoping working with an alien might make for a more interesting day than usual. You're not worth it. He turns on his heel and walks away, his high ponytail swishing behind him. Friendship is not a currency. I like the art style that they have them in for that. It's so cute. Tell him about the heaps of money you definitely have. You mention how incredibly loaded you are, and how core to your sense of values it is to pay well for good work. Wow, that's crazy. What the fuck? Oh. It is messing around. That's what we call good business. Now, get up out of that prickle frond. The fuck? Get up out of that prickle frond and let's get you presentable. He watches you flail a few times before he sighs, unbuttons his sleeves, and rolls them up to his elbows. Each fold is crisp and even. It takes a while, but you are good at being patient. There is a 12% cost increase for instances of manual labor. It'll all be explained on your bill. That's alright. If you ever want to go back on what you missed, you can do that after stream if you want. It's itemized. I'm sure an alien of means such as yourself will be able to handle it. You take his hand and he pulls you up and out of the bush. It's kind of a rough job. He's not as strong as he looks, you guess. I really like his expression here because he seems so much nicer than he is. He glares at you like he is daring you to say shit about it, and you are a quick learner. He cuts you off mid-thank you. My office isn't far from here. We can go there and get things started. And by things, I absolutely mean get you clean and sign a lot of vaguely worded yet stringently binding documents. He walks with a purpose. You shake off the flora stuck in your various body parts and do your best to catch up. From the outside, his office basically just seems like his hive. You've learned a thing or two during this shitstorm of a cultural exchange, though. You gotta play it cool when a potential friend invites you home. You never know what cages or monsters or methods of evisceration they might have laying around, and you want to prepare a nice chill look on your face for whatever carnage you're about to be confronted by. It doesn't work. Your face falls to bewildered hell when you walk inside, because it's all chrome and glass and broad, white walls in there. Because it's all chrome and glass and broad, white walls in there. There you go. Peek at his house. No way. Fell mention. It's like he bought the fanciest looking crate and barrel display room he could find, down to the last useless minimalist accessory, and then never sat down on it. You know, for minimalist, it looks very maximalist. His Lucis, a ferret, is chilling on an enormous silver thing that's halfway between a throne and play tower. That does not look silver. That looks very much gold. Everything is clean and bright and at perfect right angles, and you don't see any weapons anywhere. It's fucking creepy. You ask him if he just moved in, because polite conversation seems like maybe the best thing you can do. In the absence of something specific to focus your fear on, you're just sort of a little afraid of everything. You're not paying me to learn my life story, unless you'd like to. In that case, no. I've lived here most of my life. I'll go ahead and add that to your bill. Life story installment. You stare at one of the chairs. Should you sit in it? By all means, do not make yourself at home. Head straight to my ablution trap while I prepare our contract. You really want to connect with this guy, and you like how you just vibed there, where you were thinking about sitting your bedraggled ass in his fancy chair, and he could totally tell you were thinking it. But you don't want to be friends badly enough to walk straight into something that has the word trap right there in its name without at least pondering it for a second. You become a savier during all this. Oh, hold on guys, I need a second. Alright. Pretty sure this is the bad ending. You tell him you would rather stay away from any and all traps if that's alright. You mention that you think that's a better move for both of you. Something tells you that this guy wants to know what's in it for him. Probably all the times he said explicitly that. You do have that vibe going, after all. He taps a claw on his chin and looks you up and down. He takes his time. You try not to blush, no matter how exacting his gaze is. You present a solid case. Your whole look is more than a bit repellent, but it may make the pitiable lost alien angle... What the fuck? My screen died. Okay, it's back. I can't have shit in this household, SMH. But it may make the pitiable lost alien angle more emotionally effective if you still look like you just got run over. Frown. It takes you a second to realize he didn't just say his physical, emotive response instead of doing it with his face. He's giving you a direction. You stick your lower lip out and try to look as pathetic as possible.
twinning.
Yes, this is really working for me. It's awful. Completely repugnant. Your general squalor should function as a simple manipulation tactic, no matter which direction I decide to spin it.
The praise makes it hard to keep frowning, but you do your best to keep it up. You even hunch over a bit and shamble a few meager steps toward him.
Great, yes. That's enough. No need to come any closer.
Interesting sprite.
Okay then, we'll skip the hygiene and get straight to the best part. Bureaucracy.
Sorry, I forgot how that word was pronounced for a minute. I never say it.
Stay right there and don't get any of your crusty alien orifices near my decor. I'll go print out our contract and we can move on.
Re-ink burstment. That's so funny.
You pretend you're a statue.
Fuck, I started doing his voice while reading the narration, but...
Sorry.
You pretend you're a statue while he types things, then prints the typed things, then staples the printed things. His ferret Lucis stares at you with beady interest. You stare back, completely motionless. You wonder how often Gorgor has friends over. He brings the packet over to you and hands you a pen.
Read this. Or don't. Sign it either way. It's a standard legislator agreement, tweaked a bit to accommodate your particular situation.
I'm not reading that in his voice. Sorry guys, that's a lot. You agree to submit your testimony to be judged and will accept whatever subjugation you receive. You recognize that any potential winnings are to be remitted to me for processing through a local account before your portion can be dispensed to you. In the event of your culling, I will act as executor of your accounts. Blah blah, same old business. I'm sure it's the same where you're from. There are stars at each place you are to initial. That sure was a lot of stuff that you just got told really fast. You were trying to listen, really, but he winked at you early on in his monologue, and it was really distracting because you couldn't stop thinking about if you could incorporate a wink into a secret handshake, maybe. Anyway, regular legal jargon, yeah, just like all the times you click to say you read the terms and conditions on any old harmless social media app. That stuff never ends up being relevant. Welcome back. You show off your exquisitely polished John Hancock as many times as it takes.
Excellent, excellent. Everything's in order then. Are you ready to head out?
Oh, like now? Now? You're not ready. Do you look roughed up enough? Will your bones need to go through any more ordeals? What's a subjugulator? Does Tagora...
No sweep like the one you're fucking in, as they say.
Swear jar.
Pardon the language, it's an idiom. It means it's time to fucking go.
Let's watch the fucking language. You follow him out about as apprehensively as you followed him in. As you retrace the path you took not too long ago, it occurs to you to wonder where this glorious feat of justice is going to take place, and like if anyone is going to subpoena the asshole that hit you. Is that even a thing here? You skip up to match Tagora's pace and ask.
There is no real need for you to worry about that. It's for me to deal with. I saw the perpetrator, of course. If it seems prudent to pin the crime on them when the time comes, I will have more than enough credible evidence to condemn them. Their blood cast should be sufficient, but if it seems worth it to call in their dented scuttlebuggy, I can certainly do that as well. Of course, that's not the only way we can spin this. It may not be necessary to involve them at all. Don't bother worrying about that either.
You definitely still worry about that, but you nod and keep walking like you're not bothered. You want to match his level of easy confidence. It's almost comforting to be around it, now that you've spent some time with him. It's simple. You're still basking in the ease of being told what to do when the whole vibe flips over on its ass so fast you feel it like ice down your back. I mean, since we are a rust blood, quote unquote, alien, yeah, we probably would go to jail realistically. You look at Tagora first. He stopped walking, and his posture somehow gets straighter. Even his cute little ponytail thing looks more alert. Does it? Oh, it does. God damn, I just realized his horns are kind of big. At least for a teal blood. Also, hi Latte-chan. He's staring at the approach of another troll, a blue guy. You know that means high blood, but not much else about what that entails, aside from what you're picking up from the full hair on end cat reaction from old Gorgor next to you. Pleasant evening, sir. His voice gets somehow sweeter and more professional at the same time. You recognize what he's feeling because you felt it in yourself the whole time you've been on this godforsaken planet. A deep, all-consuming thirst for approval. He's gunning hard for the business boy friendship. The high blood, however, is not. At first you think he might be chill, because his smile gets huge, and hell, if you don't love getting smiled upon. You start to introduce yourself until Tagora shoots you a be cool look. It's then that you learn that this guy's smile is not the nice kind. What's this? He asks. Gorgor picked up a little friend. It's not. We have a working relationship. You try not to let his dismissal of your friendship sting. You're not there yet. It's okay. You want to be helpful, so you put on your best injured face and start hobbling in a circle, twisting your neck at the most grotesque angle you can manage without actually hurting yourself. You groan pitifully about all your bones. Oh, right, your booming drone-pursuing business. This, client you have here looks extra shitty. Good luck getting anything good for whatever this mutant is that you scraped up from the gristle grate. If you take a moment to consider the potential... The blue guy rolls his eyes and keeps walking, elbowing his way right between the two of you on his way past, like you're nothing. Tagora freezes. His eyes stay fixed ahead of him where the blue guy was just standing. It's like he hasn't processed the movement yet. Even though he got knocked back a few steps in his wake, he starts shaking. Yikes, that was, tense. You want to say something reassuring to Tagora, but he has kind of ascended into another plane of existence. Maybe a nice reassuring pat on the shoulder will help diffuse the mood. You put a ginger hand on the mere vicinity of his body, and he rolls to face you, eyes narrowed and breathing heavy. You snatch your hand back fast. Mistake! You! Do you have any idea how rare that networking opportunity was? Do you realize what you... No. Of course you don't. You don't know anything. You're just a weird little hornless thing who doesn't even know how to cross the fucking street. He starts laughing, all high-pitched and weird. Up until now, he seemed so slick, so unflappable, that Gorgor is hard to reconcile with the one pacing back and forth, hollering and grabbing at his face. He's pretty goddamn flapped. I also really like this sprite as well. But to be fair, it's hard to find a sprite I don't like. Oh boy, you really screwed up, huh? Maybe your busted neck routine was not convincing enough, or too convincing? Either way, you figure now might be the time to bow out, before the scene really blows up. You tell him so. Your neck is fine, look. You headbang a bit to prove it. No, a deal is a deal is a deal. He breathes in slowly through his nose. Alright, Gorgor, remember your mantra. He closes his eyes. After an awkward minute of watching himself whisper something unintelligible to himself, he opens them and immediately starts up that bonkers pace again. So you skedaddle to catch up. He keeps talking, though by now he's just talking to himself, with you as an eavesdropping barnacle with really slow legs. Little manic giggles bubble out in between his sentences. He's essentially losing his shit. We're headed toward justice, all right. Keep walking, we're seeing this through. I've got a bottom line to uphold. Okay, not bad. Maybe things are still cool between you? Maybe this lawyer-client relationship still has a chance to blossom into something more. You venture a friendly type topic and ask him about his mantra. He stops walking and looks at you like you shat on his Lucis's grave. You don't just ask someone what their mantra is. Maybe not so cool. He shivers, spooked, and turns his stanky stare from you to the path you're on. After a moment, he smooths back all the hairs he shook out of place during his freakout, pivots, and turns down a side street. Anyway, as I was about to say, there are many ways to fulfill the terms of our contract. I was hoping this would lead to a more stimulating evening. I was prepared to get into it with you. For you. But it has become clear that this partnership is no longer worth the work. Especially now that I will have to consider the significant career setback I just experienced at your feckless hand. So instead of wasting any more of my time or yours, let's take a shortcut to the same end result, sparing us both the agony of enduring a long court battle in the proximity of one another. Here's your verdict. You're guilty. Guilty? Wait, wasn't it supposed to be the other guys on trial? You look around, panic rising in your chest. Oh, don't tell me. You don't know how the legal system works either. Unsurprising and uninteresting. Oh, this is bad. You'd been so caught up in watching him talk that you didn't notice him guiding you straight to the shittier part of town. You know, the part that's all half-demolished hives and creepy noises and drones flying around. Drones like the one that turns to notice you when Tagoro whistles, snaps his fingers, and points right at your head. Hey, big guy. Over here. One extremely malformed and unviable troll. Just the way you like it. You shouldn't feel surprised at this betrayal, maybe, but you do, for a second anyway. Then you focus on yelling and scanning for possible debris to hide under. Tagoro starts backing away as the drone gets closer. There's a sewer next street over. You probably won't make it. But if you do, check your pocket. Such a great ending, isn't it? Alright, time for the final ending of stream. Let me show you one of the guys that actually shows up in the story. We don't see him physically, but this guy shows up in the good ending. Take a goddamn bath. You're more than a little concerned about the trap part of the instructions you just received. But hey, at least the trap you know about is better than one you don't. And with everything else you can see so freaky pristine, he has to be hiding some evil elsewhere. You wonder if it's a dungeon. A dungeon could be cool. The ferret bounds down off its pedestal and jerks its head for you to follow it. You do because it seems like a regular thing to do, and Tagore is busy on his computer. It leads you to a bathroom, which is just as fancy and clean as everything else you've seen. The Lucis chitters at you for a second, squirms its big noodle body around, and leaves, shutting the door behind it. You wait a second till it's probably gone before you test the handle. It's unlocked. Huh. You wonder what the point, or, motive might be for leading you to this room until you turn and see yourself in the mirror. That is some haggard-looking stuff right there, so fair. You're flying by the seat of your pants, but you guess maybe you're supposed to take a bath? If not, and he gets pissed and unleashes the ferret on you, at least you'll meet your maker nice and clean. You half expect some indiscernible goo or blood or something to come out of the faucet in the weird lumpy tub, but thankfully it's just water. I mean, it's not that lumpy. Yeah, it's fairly normal looking. Once you're in, you take a look at the truly inordinate amount of bath products you have at your fingertips. There are 3 shelves of little bottles and soaps and unidentifiable, lathersome accessories by the tub alone. There's even more by the mirror. The labels are all gibberish, of course, but you sniff a few until you find something flowery and go to town. You take more time than you should in there, but you haven't experienced a moment of luxurious solitude in a bit. Full-time friendship searching can be difficult work. It's good to recharge. Once you're freshly scrubbed and dried, you slather yourself head to toe with some lotion you find in an iridescent vial. This thing, by the way. Alright. It's almost over. You hope he won't mind you using it. He wants you to be presentable, and this stuff is sparkly. You're starting to feel rejuvenated as hell, ready to knock this friendship stuff right out of the park. You leave your dirty, torn-up old clothes on the floor, wrap yourself in one of the many satin bathrobes folded on a shelf, and head back out to find Tagora. He's standing in his foyer, waiting with the contract he typed up for you. When he sees you, his eyebrow ticks up. I see you went with the Rainbow Drinker Serum. Full body application. Bold choice. I mean, it's an incredibly rare and expensive product, and I do expect to be remunerated, but I won't lie, it works. Holy moly. Yeah, sure, that stuff. You don't want to let on that you don't know what it is, since he seems impressed. Instead, you give his ego a little stroke and tell him you hadn't seen such a sumptuous array of self-care accoutrements in so long that you couldn't help yourself. Not everyone takes skincare as seriously as they should. I assumed you were taking forever in there because you'd gotten lost, or didn't know how to use the ablution trap. I hadn't considered the possibility that you were just doing your regimen. Noted. Rebate for impeccable skincare. You hold your arms out to admire the well-hydrated sheen you have going on. This time, you're not really even bullshitting. It just does actually look pretty good. Tagora seems like he's struggling. He keeps opening his mouth to say something, then changing his mind. He's clutching the documents in his hand like a flotation device. He looks down at them, then back at you. I typically only use that particular product to highlight my cheek blades, but there's no real reason you shouldn't apply it more liberally, especially if cost isn't an issue. It's a little drastic for my personal style, but there is a certain unorthodox glamour to it. The next bit looks like it hurts him a bit to get out. Would you like to step outside to see the full effect? You bet your ass you would. You're curious about what he means by effect, and this seems like more fun than signing stuff. He places the documents down on his desk like they're made of glass, not paper. He looks up at his Lucis, who just sort of tilts its head to the side. You look away and give them privacy to do whatever eyeball communication is going on. After a bit, Tagora clears his throat and heads toward the door. You don't comment on the bluish flush in his cheeks. For all this shift in his demeanor, he still seems like he might kick you out on your ass if you tried to get too feelingsy with him. Hello, Pookie. You start to glow as soon as you step back out into his dark front yard. Not in a light bulb kind of way, but a subtle ethereal luminescence. What is this stuff? Oh my goodness, the return, just like that one stream title that I had. Now that is a look. I mean, there's still the unfortunate issue of your hornlessness and overall aberrance, and the fact you're still wearing my ablution robe. But it's cutting edge. I'll give you that. You look almost like a real one. You don't know what that means, but you want to roll around eternally in the praise part.
You ask if the look will help your case. Oh, right, your case, of course. He bites his lip and looks back through the window at the papers sitting on the desk where he left them. You hope he still wants to represent you, or at least that he'd want to hang out even if he wasn't going to. You don't get a chance to prod, though, because right then someone rounds the corner on the sidewalk in front of his hive. Tagora's face immediately shudders into its usual simpering mask. There's an edge of panic around his eye, though. Huh. Wow, Gorjek, what have we here? It's a blue-themed troll, which, if you remember right, means he's a fancier guy than Tagora. He's grinning like a troll Christmas came early. You can feel Tagora vibrating out of his skin next to you. Who even is this guy? When he gets close enough to get a good look at you, he jumps and screeches. What the bulge boiling fuck? That's essentially saying, a bulge is, a wiener. Which makes no sense in this, statement, in my opinion. I know, right? Tagora is frozen, the corner of his mouth pulled back to show his teeth. The new guy is ignoring him in favor of noticing that you're dressed in Tagora's monogrammed leisure wear, if his look of fascinated horror is anything to go by. You don't really know what makes you do it. You should wait for Tagora to get himself together and do the talking, but you're riding the high of him almost seeming like he was enjoying your company. Plus, nothing boosts confidence like looking like a beautiful spooky angel. So you toss your head, put on your best fancy guy voice and say, "What? Never seen a real one before?" You're placing all your chips on this guy knowing something you don't. But when his eyes get huge and he starts stumbling over himself to back away down the sidewalk, you know it's paid off. Tagora blinks, then jumps right in, picking up directly where you left off. Surely someone as well informed as yourself knows a rainbow drinker when he sees one. A rainbow drinker, if I haven't said it before a bajillion times, it's basically a vampire troll who drinks troll blood, obviously. And one of their key traits is that they're very pale, like absolutely very pale, and their skin glows. The blue guy doesn't respond with anything more coherent than a string of yelps as he hightails it back the way he came. When he's gone, you turn to Tagora and ask him super casually what a rainbow drinker is. He stares at you in stunned silence. Are you telling me you didn't know? You nod. And that you ran with it anyway, exploiting the fear you picked up on to turn the tide of a delicate encounter into your favor. You shrug. You guess so. You tell Tagora you hope his friend wasn't too freaked out. Friend? No, I hate that guy. There are simply times when being liked by your betters is helpful. Though technically, fearing me is just as good. Better, maybe. So, you know. Thank you. Tagora's laugh is soft. It's not a sound you expected to hear. He's happy because of something you did. You can't help it. You start laughing too. That was a bit of a rush, wasn't it? It was almost fun? I certainly didn't see it coming anyway. I underestimated you. He gives you an appraising look, then takes a deep breath. You're so nervous all of a sudden. You feel unbalanced on the precipice of what he might be about to say. From one prevaricator to another, I will let you in on something. I haven't actually encountered an alien before. No, the cut is fire! It's fire! Oh, sweet relief. You tell him his act was airtight, and as long as everyone's doing the truth thing, you admit you lied a bit too. You aren't actually rich. Yes, that's clear now. You have the invaluable ability to fake it, though. That's potentially much better. Why don't we put your case on hold for the time being? You wouldn't have enjoyed the outcome of our legal system anyway. So, the legal system is kind of like Fontaine in Genshin Impact. It's not serving actual justice. The courtroom is essentially just theater for everyone. And with predetermined outcomes, usually in the favor of the person who has the higher blood caste. The cut is not debatable. Be nice to Gorgor. We can find an alternative means of you working off your debt. That does not sound right, buddy. Not complaining, but it does not sound right. I think we may make a better team than I previously anticipated. With our wits combined, we can tackle bigger and better things than traffic injuries. He flexes his hand at his side, then in one swift and decisive movement, he extends it out to you. On his face is something close to an honest-to-God real-ass smile. I've never actually formed a legitimate partnership of any sort before, but I believe this is how it's done. What do you say? The glow in your heart shines brighter than any expensive and still kind of mysterious lotion. You take his hand in your firm, no-nonsense grasp of pure, inexorable joy and shake it. But yeah, this is vaguely what a rainbow drinker looks like. But they usually, look actually like a troll. It's just their skin that looks like that. He looks so good in pixel art. I know, right? Hold on, let me pull out our final ranking. Alright. He does. There we go. This should come as no surprise. He's one of my favorite characters in the game. So, this is our current rankings. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? He dies because I'm so cool, he explodes. For real, for real. I feel bad having Ardata this slow, but she's also kind of evil. And it's only sometimes more attractive when they're evil. Understandable. Put you guys on here for now. I forgot I had that gif. I keep forgetting that my Google document is super fucking bright. Need to write down another thing for the document. I don't know how to spell omelet, so I just tried my best. Skyla higher. I love her, but she's just not my absolute favorite. And to be fair, I've befriended 38 trolls all before, so, It's bright just like the player, yeah. Kaito is indeed peak. Okay, I was just missing one of the E's. I didn't have the first E. I never spell omelet because I don't really care for them. Alright, chat. Oops. I don't know why that keeps doing that. It's so inconvenient.
It's just the void. Oh. Well, of course you're not. We've gone to a restaurant before, Latte-chan. Well, sort of. It was for breakfast. I can wiggle my eyebrows. It's too dark for it to fully capture. Hold on. It always captures so much better when I have light on, which should not be shocking. Wigglers! No way! Wigglers stream, guys. Wiggler stream. It's just me taking care of wigglers for like 2 hours. And then I consume them all or something. I don't know. I'm kidding. I would not consume wigglers. Shocked right now? SMH. Imagine being shocked in a Nya-san stream. Could not be me. Alright, I should probably end it here, guys, unless you have any additional commentary. True, true. My streams are just that moving. Now you totally have so much to say right now. So much. Yay! I'm glad it helped. I still really need to make more shorts. It's just they're annoying and require effort. I don't want to have someone else do it. Yes, distract like Dandy's World. Totally. Time for the Kaito-less ending screen. I'm so tired, man. I know, so sad. The Kaito-less ending. The right dialogue. Okay, here we go. Just the same gif. There, do you guys feel better now? Alright, guys. Have a good night. おやすみなさい、皆さん。愛してるよ. I butchered that. Love you guys.